The story commences in a place of death, a morgue. A lifeless body lies on the table, undergoing an autopsy before the surgeon calls it a day. Samantha, one of our protagonists, leaves a voicemail for Nikki, extending an invitation to join her after work. The scene shifts to a lively house party where Samantha encounters her friend Alice, who is already under the influence of alcohol and is already drunk. Samantha orders a beer, but she can't shake off the feeling of being observed. She attempts to check her phone, only to be interrupted by a man named Riley. He inquires about her relationship with a bartender, but Samantha deflects and walks away. She then bumps into Zane, an old acquaintance. He questions her about Nikki's whereabouts, but Samantha remains silent and goes in search of Alice. Alice is in the mood for shots, but Samantha warns her that Nikki would be furious if she found out. Despite feeling watched again, Samantha downs the shots. Alice spots Riley lurking around and calls him out. Around 2 a.m., Samantha dials Nikki again, expressing her affection and thoughts about her before diving back into the party. In her inebriated state, she fumbles and drops her drink, only to be handed another by the mysterious observer. He introduces himself as a friend of BJ and probes about her relationship status. Samantha mentions Nikki, but he questions why Nikki isn't present. They decide to retreat to a car for some private fun, but after a while, Samantha pleads with him to stop. Day 1, Samantha awakens to the sound of Nikki's returned messages. She checks on her plants and is surprised to find her mother home early. Her mother reprimands her for her late-night antics and the noise she made. Samantha meets Nikki for lunch and mentions feeling slightly unwell. Nikki inquires about the party and whether Samantha had any fun. Samantha denies having any fun and quickly changes the topic to the thriving plants. She begins to ask Nikki about moving back in, but they are interrupted by a man who claims to recognize Sam. Nikki dismisses him, and he leaves. That night, Sam's mother prepares dinner and insists that Samantha join her, much to Sam's annoyance. They've only been living together for 10 days, and arguments have already started. Samantha stands up abruptly, crying out in pain. Her mother shows concern, but Samantha brushes it off as menstrual cramps and decides to rest. The second day dawns with Samantha waking up feeling out of sorts. She discovers blood on her bed and peculiar marks on her skin. As she showers, she notices more blood. In the kitchen, she finds her mother nursing a burn caused by a coffee pot. As Samantha assists her, her mother spots similar marks on Sam's arm. On her way to work, Samantha chats with Alice, lamenting about her persistent hangover. Suddenly, a call from Nikki comes in, but Samantha chooses to ignore it and continues her conversation with Alice. Alice shares that the police had visited her house in search of a man named Brent Jaffe, who was supposedly at the party, but neither of them recognizes the name. Samantha arrives at her workplace, where she works as a waitress. She tries to eat something but immediately spits it out due to its unpleasant taste. Riley is seated in her section. They engage in an awkward conversation before he places his usual order. To avoid further interaction, Samantha swaps sections with another waitress. While taking an order, Samantha is suddenly assaulted by a sharp, piercing noise that disrupts her concentration. She rushes to the bathroom, covering her ears and pleading for the noise to stop. Another waitress checks on her, and Samantha assures her that she'll be out shortly. She notices that she has bled into the toilet bowl and attempts to clean it up. When she returns to her table, she is overcome by pain. She visits a doctor and explains her symptoms. The doctor notes her unusually slow heart rate. She recounts the incident in the car, but can't recall if they were safe. Despite her symptoms, the doctor is unable to explain the bleeding. Samantha decides to visit Nikki. Nikki shares that a man who reminded her of Riley had approached her the previous night. She then notices that Samantha appears unwell, but Samantha brushes it off. Nikki hands Samantha her mail, and Samantha inquires if there's anything from the committee. Unexpectedly, Samantha presents Nikki with a bottle of wine to celebrate their 10-month anniversary. Samantha expresses her longing for Nikki, but Nikki feels things are moving too quickly. Samantha notices that she has received the letter she was waiting for. Samantha leaves to meet Alice for dinner, who points out that something seems wrong with Sam's eye. When Samantha returns home and takes a bath, she detects a foul odor and a maggot falls out of her body. She examines her eye in the mirror before brushing her teeth, but she finds more blood as she pulls out a tooth. That night, she is plagued by nightmares and wakes up to vomit. Her mother checks on her, but Samantha requests to be left alone. As she departs, she informs her mother that she got in, and her mother expresses her pride. The third day begins with Samantha waking up in a disoriented state, hunched over the toilet amidst a pool of blood. She cleans up and attempts to take a bath, complaining about the water being cold. However, when her mother enters, she observes that the water is, in fact, boiling. Her mother, noticing Samantha's deteriorating condition, sternly warns her that such behavior will not be tolerated again. As Samantha showers, she is horrified to find clumps of her hair falling out. She tries to leave the house, but her mother attempts to stop her, demanding to know what Samantha is doing to herself. Samantha, however, storms out in defiance. Her boss, George, calls her, requesting her to cover a shift until he can find a replacement. Despite her reluctance, she agrees. Upon her arrival, George instructs her to remove her sunglasses, revealing her inflamed eyes. She dismisses it as a severe case of conjunctivitis. In the kitchen, she experiences another horrifying symptom. Her fingernails start to peel off. A scream echoes from the dining room as one of Samantha's customers discovers a tooth in their salad. Samantha hastily leaves the restaurant, only to be intercepted by Riley on the street. She informs him that she is unwell, but when he offers to take her to the hospital, she rebuffs him, asserting that she is not his responsibility. He confesses that he saw her with a man the previous night and informs her that the police are looking for that man. She warns him to stay away from her, threatening to report him for stalking. While waiting at the doctor's office, she receives a call from Alice, who informs her that the police have apprehended the man from the party. They now want a list of names from Samantha of anyone who might have had contact with him at the party. The man identifies himself as BJ, which explains why no one recognized the name. The doctor is unable to diagnose her condition and awaits the results of her blood test. Samantha is frustrated as her condition seems to be worsening. She reveals her eyes to the doctor, who suspects a viral infection, but notes the absence of any signs of inflammation. He theorizes that it might have been transmitted during her recent encounter, but he cannot treat her until he can identify the infection. He advises her to avoid contact with others until they can determine what it is. Samantha visits 𝐂𝐻𝐿's house, seeking something to distract her from her troubles. He provides her with some illicit substances, but cautions her to be careful. As she prepares to use them, Alice arrives, curious about what is happening. Samantha shares her experience with BJ, but Alice suggests she should report it to the police. Samantha refuses, not wanting Nikki to find out. Alice insists that this isn't about Nikki, which angers Samantha. Back at the restaurant, Samantha is having a drink when a man passes her a note before leaving with another woman. Samantha follows them but loses track of them outside. She returns home to find her mother discussing Samantha's condition with another doctor. Her mother accuses Samantha of abusing illicit substances, leading to a heated argument. They refuse to let her leave, accusing Nikki of enabling her. Samantha, in a fit of rage, removes her glasses and screams at them. The doctor apologizes and leaves. Alice admits that she has been waiting for them to break up for a long time. Samantha storms out, and 𝐂𝐻𝐿 confesses to Alice that he might have sold the substance used to spike drinks to a man. Samantha then heads to an appointment with the committee, startling the receptionist with her appearance. He requests her identification and realizes that she has brought a sample of a unique plant that she has grown. Unfortunately, the plant looks withered and on the verge of dying. After examining her ID, he asks her to take off her glasses. After another look, he asks her to wait. When he returns, he delivers the disappointing news that she cannot participate in the competition. Frustrated, she angrily throws the plant and decides to visit her friend Nikki. However, Nikki refuses to answer the door, leaving Samantha in tears. Eventually, Nikki opens the door but expresses her anger, revealing that Alice had called her and spilled everything. Nikki tells Samantha to leave, stating that she is no longer interested in her. Samantha, determined, forces her way inside and starts attacking Nikki. During the fight, Samantha confesses her love for Nikki as she continues to attack. Feeling defeated, Samantha drives to Alice's house and bursts in unannounced. She demands an explanation for Alice's call to Nikki, but Alice defends herself, stating that it was for Samantha's own good because she needs help. Alice insists that Samantha leave, but Samantha retaliates, claiming that Alice doesn't comprehend the consequences of her actions. Samantha chases Alice, who defends herself with a knife. In a moment of twisted desire, Samantha reveals that this is what Alice wanted and pulls her close for a kiss. But instead, Samantha stabs Alice and then proceeds to bite her. Suddenly, Samantha apologizes, realizing that she cannot allow Alice to continue down this path. With that realization, Samantha kills Alice. Feeling overwhelmed, Samantha picks up her phone and calls Riley, telling him that she needs to talk and inviting him to Alice's house. While Riley heads there, Samantha quickly applies makeup to appear more normal and conceals Alice's lifeless body. When Riley arrives, Samantha is sitting calmly on the sofa. He joins her, and she reassures him that everything is fine. Samantha mentions that Alice is in the back, acknowledging that Riley had been intrusive earlier, but confesses that she really likes him. Samantha explains that she needs someone who cares about her the way he does. Despite her own confusion and personal changes, they start to grow closer and enjoy each other's company. However, during their intimate moment, maggots can be seen falling to the floor, causing Riley to rush to the bathroom and vomit. Confused and concerned, Riley demands to know what is wrong with Samantha. He soon realizes that she has transmitted an infection to him and warns her to stay away before discovering Alice's lifeless body in the bathtub. Filled with a mix of emotions, Samantha drives home and calls her mother, but her mind starts to play tricks on her, causing hallucinations. Overwhelmed, Samantha loses consciousness while driving and crashes her car. Emerging from the wreckage, Samantha, now zombified, reaches out to grab unsuspecting members of the public. Her mother appears and tries to reassure her, but Samantha charges at her in a terrifying frenzy. Did this story spook you out? Let us know in the comments below. For more horror movie recaps, subscribe to our channel, and we will see you in the next one. Fear awaits you.